Today we are going to learn good warehousing practices. So good warehousing practices are having the importance because whatever quality we are saying, that quality right from the start material to its product is maintained during its storage also and till the product is reaching to the customer. That means during the transport also we have to maintain the quality. During the storage and during the transport also we have to maintain the quality of the product. So this maintenance of the quality during the storage and during the distribution, this will be known as good warehousing practices. So it will be having good trade and distribution practices also. In this, the stability testing of pharmaceutical products containing well-established drug substances in the conventional dosage form is also done, as well as the GMP is followed and IP is also followed. The objective of the GWP here, the objective is to describe the special measures. That means what we should do or what shall be done during the storage and transportation of the pharmaceuticals. This will be in the form of a document, and that document is nothing but the good warehousing practices. So the warehouse will look like this, that racks, materials are stored properly, they are labeled, air, light, closing of the door, opening of the door, everything will be as per the standard guidelines. So the guidelines are applicable not only for the manufacturing, that means wherever the manufacturing of medicinal product is going on, but also those who are having the import of the pharmaceuticals, exports of pharmaceuticals, or contractors, wholesalers, hospital pharmacies, retailers, whatever are, for them these guidelines are followed. So these guidelines are adjusted so that during the storage of pharmaceutical the proper care is taken place. National or regional regulations are also along with these guidelines. So today we are going to learn good warehousing practices. So good warehousing practices are having the importance because whatever quality we are saying, that quality right from the start material to its product is maintained during its storage also and till the product is reaching to the customer. That means during the transport also we have to maintain the quality. During the storage and during the transport also we have to maintain the quality of the product. So this maintenance of the quality during the storage and during the distribution, this will be known as good warehousing practices. So it will be having good trade and distribution practices also. In this, the stability testing of pharmaceutical products containing well-established drug substances in the conventional dosage form is also done, as well as the GMP is followed and IP is also followed. The objective of the GMP GWP here. The objective is to describe the special measures. That means what we should do or what shall be done during the storage and transportation of the pharmaceuticals. This will be in the form of a document, and that document is nothing but the good warehousing practices. So the warehouse will look like this, that racks, materials are stored properly, they are labeled, air, light, closing of the door, opening of the door, everything will be as per the standard guidelines. So the guidelines are applicable not only for the manufacturing, that means wherever the manufacturing of medicinal product is going on, but also those who are having the import of the pharmaceuticals, exports of pharmaceuticals, or contractors, wholesalers, hospital pharmacies, retailers, whatever are, for them these guidelines are followed. So these guidelines are adjusted so that during the storage of pharmaceutical, the proper care is taken place. National or regional regulations are also along with these guidelines. So during this discussion we must know some basic terms, and from these terms, first term is the API, that is active pharmaceutical ingredient. Who will be called as active pharmaceutical ingredient is any substance or mixture of substances intended. Now, intended means it will be used and it will be having its intention as well, not only just to add it. And it will be used for the manufacturing of a pharmaceutical dosage form, and when it is used in the production of a drug, it becomes the active ingredient of that drug. Sometimes we are using a single substance, or sometimes we are using mixture of the substances. So this will be also known as the active pharmaceutical ingredient. So this API will be having the pharmacological activity or other direct effects in the diagnosis, cure, mitigation, treatment or prevention of a disease. And it will be having any changes in the structure or function of the body. So such ingredients, such substances will be known as API. Then the term comes is the contamination. When we are going to say that it is a contamination, that any undesired, whichever is not required in that material, it is coming from outside and it is an impurity. That impurity may be chemical, or it may be microbiological, or it may be any foreign matter that will be getting introduced. That means it is entering inside the material. That procedure will be known as contamination. And this contamination can be into the starting material, it can be in the intermediate, or it can be in the finished product during production, sampling, packaging, repackaging, storage or transport. So contamination can occur at any stage, at any type of material. That will be known as contamination. Next is cross contamination. Now the contamination of starting material, intermediate or finished product with the another starting material or product or intermediate, that will be known as cross contamination. That is mix up of one material into the other material, that will be known as cross contamination. Then is the excipient. So other than API, whatever we are using in the dosage form and it is safe one, and it is going to help the processing of the dosage form, it is also going to enhance the stability or bioavailability It is going to enhance the patient acceptability, it is going to protect the dosage form, or sometime it is going to support the dosage form. It will be also assisting in the product identification. It will be enhancing the overall safety and effectiveness of the drug during the storage or use. Next is the expiry date. That means up to that date, including that date or that month, the dosage form is going to be remain. The dosage form is going to remain within the specifications, and it is not going to be having any compromise with the safety. So that will be known as the expiry date. Then comes is the labeling. So labeling part is nothing but it is the action which will be having the correct label over the container, and it will be providing all the in detail information of the contents which are present inside that container. That will be known as labeling. Then next part comes is the manufacture. All operations of purchase of material, products, production, quality control, storage, release, distribution of finished products and related controls. These will be considered under the heading of manufacturing. Then the material. It is a general term used to denote starting materials, reagents, solvents, process aids, intermediates, packaging materials, labeling materials, etc. Everything which is used in manufacturing, that will be known as material. Then comes is the packaging material, that we have already discussed in packaging material testing. Then comes is the pharmaceutical product. Any medicine that is intended for human use or veterinary product administered to food producing animals, that it will be present in its finished dosage form, then that product will be known as pharmaceutical product. It will be exported or imported with the pharmaceutical legislations. Then production. All operations involved in the preparation of pharmaceutical product, right from taking the receipt of the materials through the processing, packaging, repacking, labeling, relabeling, to the completion of the finished product. Retest that the date on which the material is supposed to be re-examined to ensure the quality, then that it is suitable for the use. That date will be known as retest date. Storage. The storing of pharmaceutical products and materials up to their point of use, that will be known as storage. Then the supplier, a person providing pharmaceutical products and materials on request. Suppliers may be agents, brokers, distributors, manufacturers or traders, and these will be authorized persons, so that will be known as supplier. The next part is personnel. For the warehousing, the organization chart should be in a place. There should be sufficient number of staff, and each and every staff should be having clear definition regarding their job. Then the personnel should be trained in relation with the good storage and distribution practices and the duties assigned to them. So sufficient number of staff, what is their job they should know, and they should be trained regarding the good warehousing practices and how to keep the records, or whatever records are there in the industry, their training should be given to the personnel, and the trainers, those who are giving the training, they should be established and they should be having approved qualification. So at each storage site, let it be the person, manufacturer, distributor, wholesaler, community or hospital pharmacy, it will be adequate number, not only in the manufacturing area but also at every point. There should be sufficient number of staff, proper training, and most important is personnel. Those who are employed in the storage area, they should wear suitable protective or working garments appropriate for the activities which they perform. As well as the sanitation is equally important in concern with the personnel. A written sanitation program should be in a place which will be indicating the frequency and method of cleaning the facilities. Storage areas should be cleaned and accumulated, and the waste should be removed at regular intervals. A pest control program should be in place. Smoking, eating and drinking is not permitted in the proper storage area. It should be done in the segregated areas. And spills involving whatever drug products are there, that should be cleaned up and rendered safe in accordance with the relevant health and safety of the personnel as well as the product. Adequate toilet and changing facility should be provided, and they should be segregated from the main storage area. Then the actual premises and facilities. The premises should be of suitable size, construction to facilitate cleaning, maintenance, and it should be having proper segregation for the storage. And storage area must be designed to provide adequate lighting, ventilation, temperature, sanitation, humidity, and it should provide a good space. It should be having the proper equipment for the monitoring, and there should be security. The security is to prevent the theft or unauthorized entry, and it should provide a control who may enter into the facilities. So for controlling this access into the facility, one system will be established, that is entrances, exits, that will be covered. And storage area will be having the segregation of starting material, packaging material, intermediates, bulk and finished products, products in quarantine, released material, rejected material, recalled or returned material. And storage area is meant so that it should have a good storage condition, that is whatever temperature and relative humidity, it should be there as per the label requirement of the material. That type of storage condition should be maintained in the storage area, and these temperature and humidity conditions will be checked, monitored and recorded, that their record will be also maintained. Materials and pharmaceutical products should be stored off the floor, not directly on the floors. They should be kept apart or away from the floor, so that during cleaning and everything the material is not damaged. Storage area should be cleaned and free from waste or vermin. There should be a written sanitation program. Then whatever is the receiving and dispatch, that will be done with the help of a conveyor belt instead of manually holding the materials or the cartons. It should be conveyed through the belt, so it will be having the protection of the material as well as the protection from the weather conditions. The reception area should be separated, and whatever material is incoming or it is to be taken inside the storage area, it should be cleaned in that particular area if it is necessary, because sometimes during transportation it gets dust on the carton, so it will be removed in the reception area only before it is going into the storage area. And whatever is the quarantine status, that it is just arrived, it is under test, it is rejected, it is released, that label, that quarantine status should be maintained clearly, or as per their status they should be stored in the well marked areas. There should be separate sampling area for starting material, or if sampling is done inside the storage area only, then it should have a proper procedure so that there should not be any chance of contamination or cross contamination, and adequate cleaning procedure is done in the sampling area. Then whatever we are saying, rejected, expired, recalled, or returned products, there should be segregation, and this segregation is either physical or equivalent, and it should be validated. Highly active or radioactive material, narcotics, hazardous material, dangerous materials are having a risk of abuse or fire or explosion, so such materials will be stored in the dedicated area, that is in the college. If we see in the stores, alcohol is separately stored, so like that in the industry or in other storage also, such materials are stored separately. Materials and pharmaceutical products should be handled and distributed according to the GMP. That means while this GMP should be followed. Then the principle followed will be first expired, first out. When we are sending the material out from the storage area, finished product, then whichever is having first expiry, that should be first out. And we have to avoid contamination, mix-ups or contamination. Whatever rejected materials are there, these will be separately quarantined, and until a final decision is taken, they will be considered under this heading. Narcotic drugs are stored as per the international convention or national laws and regulations. Broken or damaged items are withdrawn immediately from the stock, and these are separated. And storage area should provide the adequate lighting because to carry out all the operations. Then comes is the storage conditions. Now what we have said is the up on to which conditions the material is to remain safe or it is going to be effective. That conditions will be majorly the storage conditions. So whatever temperature and humidity is required, that will be monitored through the temperature monitoring equipments. These equipments will be kept such that everything will be monitored and recorded, and the data will be retained. So this will be kept in such area that where you can find the fluctuations in the temperature and humidity. In that particular area it will be assigned, and these monitoring devices will be also checked regularly, that whether they are having the recording properly or not. They are at a predetermined intervals, they will be checked, and equipments which are used, these will be also calibrated. Then comes is the documentation part. So written doc instructions and records should be available for all the activities in the storage area. That means SOP for storage of raw material, packaging material, like that everything. Then for the sampling, then cleaning, every SOP, and when the material is arrived, its receipt, then its detail, everything, that record should be maintained. These will be describing the storage procedures, route of material and pharmaceutical products, and if there is a product recall, what the organization is going to do, that will be also recorded in the instructions and records. The information must be permanent one, either it will be in a written format or it will be in a electronic format, and it will be stored till for each delivery. The record will be kept till it is going to its shelf life plus 1 year. You will be keeping it, or sometime till its expiry date the record will be kept. and this record will be having the description of the goods, its quality, quantity, supplier's batch number, date of receipt, assigned batch number, the expiry date. Everything will be recorded, and these records regarding all the receipts, issue of material as per their batch number, each and every batch the record will be maintained. Then comes is the labeling and the container. So for the labels will be stored in the storage area only with the security, as we have discussed in the material management, and these are stored in such type of container. Every material will be stored in such type of container that it should not affect the quality of the material or the product, and it should provide adequate protection from the external factors. This will be requirement of the containers, and after that container it should be clearly labeled that at least it should be having the name of the material, batch number, expiry date or retest date, and its storage condition and its reference with the any pharmacopoeia if it is there, that should be labeled clearly on the label. Then comes is the receipt. For each incoming material there will be receipt and there will be relevant purchase order. So physically it will be verified that whatever is there in the purchase order similar is there in the delivery. That is to check the description, batch number, type of material, quantity, it will be checked. This consignment will be examined for the uniformity of the container, that each container is having the similar size, similar quantity, that will be checked. Or if the one batch was to be ordered, each batch is divided equally and it should be having the same batch number. If the second lot is there, it should have the different batch number, like that you have to check. Then each container will be inspected for the possible contamination, damage or tampering or anything suspect, that will be quarantined till you have the complete investigation regarding this. If it is required, then samples will be taken from the trained and qualified personnel in strict accordance as per the SOP, and it will be going for the quality control test. After sampling, the goods should be subjected to the quarantine and batch segregation should be done. Materials and pharmaceutical products should remain in the quarantine until it is authorized release or rejection of the material. It will be only quarantined. It should not be released or rejected. And measures are taken if the material is rejected or the pharmaceutical products cannot be used. Then these should be stored separately. Either they will be destroyed or they will be returned to the supplier. Then next part comes is the stock rotation and control. Here the stock will be rotated, that you have to check that whatever is having first expiry, that is first out, or there is no mix up, or there is no incorrect issue of the material records and the actual stock is same. That means in the records whatever is the data, the similarity is present physically inside that storage area. Damaged containers are not issued. Like these precautions will be taken to have the control over it. Then if there is a material is withdrawn from the container, it should be resealed and reclosed to avoid the contamination or cross contamination. And if anything is there, damaged container or something, attention should be drawn of the higher authority. Then comes is the returned goods. So sometimes due to some problems or complaints, the goods will be recalled. So these will be handled in accordance with the approved procedures, that is the SOP provided for handling of the return goods, that will be used. Then all the return goods should be placed in a quarantine and returned to saleable stock only that it is approved by the responsible person and it will be re-evaluated for its quality. Any stock which is reissued should be identified and recorded in the stock. Either many times whatever has came back, it will be destroyed only because it will not be having the proper quality, hence it has been recalled, so it will be destroyed as per the standard procedure. Then comes is the dispatch and transport. During the dispatch or transport, the materials will be following the standard storage conditions. Special care must be taken so that there you can have the safety precautions regarding its dispatch and transport. Then whatever conditions of the temperature has to be maintained during the transportation, also the storage conditions of temperature and humidity will be recorded and the record will be kept. Then there will be a standard procedure for the dispatch also, it will be documented and that procedure will be followed only. And if there is something deviation, it should be notified to the responsible persons and the records of the batch will be of the dispatch of the batch will be retained. At least it will be having the date, customer's name and address, product description and the batch numbers. Now if there is a product recall, then it should be having the label as return goods, date, customer's name and address, product name, its strength, whatever is there, and the batch number.